Sup Youtube, it's ZapdosTCG here, and since I already covered all the best decks that I have been used at cities, I decided to look at some newer decks that will emerge out of the next Destiny set. And in this episode I'll be talking about none other than Mewtwo EX, because this Pokemon is going to be the card to beat in the upcoming tournament. So obviously this card is from next Destinies, and which comes out on February 8th, by the way, and there are already some pre-releases scheduled at the end of January and on the first week of February, so I suggest you go to one of those because it's really awesome to get a pre-release card and boosters from the new set. And I'll be going to a pre-release myself, yeah, so hopefully I can get myself some EX cards by trading some older cards away and stuff. Now back to Mewtwo, the most powerful Pokemon from the Kanto region, is back to kick some ass with an insanely amount of HP this time, 170 to be exact. For a basic it's just perfect. The artwork looks epic as well, and it has really good attacks too. Also his retreat cost is only 2, which means a simple double colorless energy can do the trick. So all around this card is going to be huge. The only downside that I can think of is the EX rule, which states if this card is knocked out, your opponent can take 2 prize cards instead of just 1. But if you consider that Mewtwo EX will be able to knock out at least 2 Pokemon with the help of Catcher and stuff, that's only fair. So let's check out his first attack. It's called X-Ball, and for a double colorless energy it deals 20 damage times the amount of energies attached to both active Pokemon. So with a double colorless energy you'll always deal 40 damage, and this can just stack up with the help of some energy acceleration, and also the fact that your opponent will also attach energies to attack. That's even more good news for Mewtwo EX, because the more energies your opponent has, the more damage you deal. So a really good attack, and to start off the game actually. And the second attack is also really good. It deals 120 damage, and it's called Psy Drive for 2 psychic energies and a colorless energy, 120 damage. That's just the same amount like Reshiram and Zekrom from Black and White, but the side effect is so much better. It states discard an energy attached to this Pokemon, so you only need to discard 1 energy instead of 2 like Reshiram, which means this card is one of the best cards that will be in our format. So definitely get your hands on as many as you can when you're going to a pre-release, because they're going to be so expensive. When you pre-order them online they're already like 60 bucks or something like that, so it's really expensive. Now let us check out some deck ideas that I came up with. I know that the complete set might have some better cards that could really work with Mewtwo EX, but they haven't released any scans on the internet yet, so we'll just have to do it with the older sets out there. And the good news is that Mewtwo EX is splashable, which means you can put him in any deck, just like Yanmega used to be splashable. You can just put him in any deck you're going to play in the future, because he runs on double colorless energy, so you can easily attach any type of energy to Mewtwo and just start using X-Ball on your second turn or something. So that's why he's splashable. But there are 2 versions to play Mewtwo EX, and the first one would be using it for his first attack with some energy acceleration, like you can use Ember with the ability, for Alligator Prime, Electric, Typhlosion Prime, the Pachirisu and Shaman combo, Jirachi, and of course Celebi Prime. So there are many ways to run Mewtwo EX, but as long as you have energy acceleration on your side together with Catcher, you can start to go for knockouts as quickly as possible. Also the fact that with some plus powers you can easily get rid of all the basics, and yeah, I mean all of them, like the weak basics like Tinamos, Solosis, Oddish, Cyndaquils, Magnemines, Doduos, Litwicks, and many more. And yeah, you'll be able to knock out all those basics from turn 1, and that's why Mewtwo EX is so popular and it isn't even released yet. I know it sounds crazy. Anyway, let's talk about the second way of playing Mewtwo EX, and that's using it for a second attack. You can use cards like Professor Juniper, Junkarm, Sage's Training, or anything other than that, just to put psychic energies from turn 1 in the discard pile, and then you can use Jirachi's Poké Power to get these energies into play, and then you can place Shaman to get all the energies to Mewtwo EX. So it's sort of like a Pachirisu Shaman combo, but then with coin flips. But if you manage to get only 1 energy, that isn't bad as well, because yeah, you can just use his first attack anyways. If you have a double colorless energy, you can always use his first attack, so that's why he's such a good card, Mewtwo EX. I can't say it enough. And there's good news, because if you remember my other episodes where I talked about a card named Gardevoir, it has an ability that states as long as this Pokemon is in play, each basic psychic energy attached to your psychic Pokemon provides 2 psychic energies instead. So 2 for the price of 1, so that's really good news for Mewtwo EX indeed. But Gardevoir is a stage 2 Pokemon, so it might be a bit slower than other tech cards I mentioned, but nevertheless it will definitely see some playability, because the best part is that it's been revealed that Gardevoir will be in our next set as well. Even though it's just a rare card and not a shiny one like in Dark Rush, it's just insanely awesome to get it in the same set as Mewtwo EX. And now we'll talk about some cards that could really knock out Mewtwo EX, so you can have ways to stop Mewtwo EX as well. The first up would be Magnezone to lost burn 4 energies. I know that might seem a lot, but considering that you get 2 prize cards for doing this definitely makes up for it. Just lost burn 4 energies and you knock out Mewtwo EX even with Eviolite. And next up is Mew Prime. With a smart C-off you can easily overcome Mewtwo EX. Just put a great Pokemon with a great attack in the lost zone and then use that attack with Psychic, because Mew is Psychic and you can just use his type to overcome Mewtwo EX decks that way, so it'll be an epic war between Mewtwo and Mew, which kind of reminds me of the first movie. Anyway, next up is Wheezing. This card has an attack that only needs a double cardless energy to attack. It's called Super Explosion. It deals 90 damage, so a total of 180 damage to Mewtwo thanks to his weakness to Psychic, but then you'll deal 90 damage to yourself. But with the help of Defender, you can easily stay alive because weakness isn't involved with doing damage to yourself while you're knocking out Mewtwo EX. The only downside is when Mewtwo EX has an EV Light attached to him, then you'll only deal 160 damage, which isn't enough to knock out Mewtwo, but you'll have to use plus power, and it's a stage 1 as well, so it might be a bit slow. When you place a coffin, you'll definitely get captured by Mewtwo EX, so it's just way too good in this format, that Mewtwo EX. And that's it for this week's episode. Now we'll go straight to Poké-News because we're on a roll. To start off, there are more cards revealed from next Destinies, which is only a good thing. Now we can check them out, which cards could be playable, and the first one is Shaman EX. This time is the Sky form, that is the EX form. It only has 110 HP for an EX, which isn't that good compared to the epic Mewtwo I talked about, but this card can really get you back into the game with a second attack called Revenge Blast for a grass energy, and a cardless energy you can deal 30 damage plus 30 more for each prize card that your opponent has taken. So the maximum would be 5 prizes that your opponent has taken, and then it equals to a total amount of damage 180 damage, and that can knock out every Pokemon that doesn't have an EV Light attached to him. So with the help of energy acceleration, you can set him up in one turn and get back into the game by dealing a lot of damage, and you have control over who you're attacking with the help of Catcher, of course. And yeah, his retreat cost is only 1, which is good, and his resistance is fighting, so Dolphin Prime won't be able to one-hit KO this one. He also has a first attack that lets you search a grass energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon for a grass energy, which is good. But yeah, if you consider that you can be one-shotted really easy, it won't be that necessary to build up a Pokemon using this attack, so your Shaman would be wide open after that. So I'd only suggest using it for a second attack to get those prizes really fast at the end of the game and just turn around the game. Next up is Lucario, and this Pokemon has an ability that just resembles the one from Druddigon, meaning if you attack him, you receive 2 damage counters even if Lucario is knocked out, and it's not really that good in this format because he has a Psychic weakness which just screams to be knocked out by Mewtwo, and the fact that Druddigon has a basic and has the same amount of HP, this card will never see any playability in our current format. Next is Gardevoir. Yep, I already mentioned this card, so I won't be going over the card again. I know his attack sucks, it's really bad, but this card just can't be ignored due to his awesome ability. Next is Shiftry. I'm glad that they're bringing back more older Pokemon, and this one brought a nice ability with him. It's called Giant Fan, and it states once you play this Pokemon to evolve one of your Pokemon, flip a coin. If heads, you may choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, and your opponent has to shuffle that Pokemon and all cards attached to it back into their deck. So this is insanely good. You can just remove something in play that you don't want to knock out, or just disrupt your opponent's setup by getting rid of some abilities or Pokepowers or stuff like that. Just put them back in the deck, and yeah, as I said, it's pretty useful but pretty risky as well, because if the coin flip tails, you're just stuck with a useless Shiftry on your field. And yeah, the last chance for now is Sky Arrow Bridge. If you watched my previous episode, you probably know already what it does, but I'll explain it again for the new viewers out there. It's a stadium card that is playable. Wow, that's been a while. Yeah, this stadium card is actually really good. It states the retreat cost of each basic Pokemon in play is 1 less, which means all basic Pokemon like Magnemines, Dynamos, Odysseus, Doduos, Voltorbs and stuff like that have all free retreat, and also 90% of the upcoming EX cards will be able to retreat by only using a double cardless energy, which is just really great for basics. Once again, just imagine yourself a deck full of basics and you put Sky Arrow Bridge down, you have EV Lights attached to your basics. You're just going to have such a good time playing with only basics. I think they should make something like Mewtwo Level X back in the days where basics are blocked and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe in the future we'll have something like that, because basics are just way too good in our current format. And the last thing on my list is some Japanese cards from Dragon Selection. Here are some scans, and I think the only card that actually deserves recognition is Haxorus because of its first attack. It deals 60 damage for a double cardless energy, and wow, there are lots of cards that run double cardless energy nowadays, so Lost Remover might see some better playability, and some other decks. The only deck that runs Lost Remover, I think, is Durant. Aside to that, the attack states if the opponent's active Pokemon is the cardless type, you deal 120 damage instead, so that's really good to knock out some Tornadoes, I guess, but I don't think it's that playable, because yeah, not that many Pokemon colors, and even Regigigas, the EX form is 180 HP, so you won't even knock that out in one hit. And this is a stage 2, so you'll need rare candy, so nah, it's not anything that special. And now let's just return to some English news to finish off Poké-News. So here's the picture, and now you must be thinking, wow, Reshiram EX and Zekrom EX in their full art version. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, so it's really epic, but this also means that we won't be getting any Groudon EX or Kyogre EX in our next set, but we'll probably get those later with Rayquaza EX in an upcoming set or something. But we do have full art Reshiram EX and full art Zekrom EX, which I believe Japan doesn't have those already, so that's a great thing. And to finish off, here's what next Destiny's Blister will look like. So that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, click the like button. I always appreciate that. And if you have any questions, thoughts, or awesome new ideas, then go crazy in the comment section and let me know what's on your mind. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what's stopping you from clicking this button right now? That way you'll stay tuned for more episodes, booster openings, and stuff like that. And anyways, this was ZapdosTCG. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time.